Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name's Sammy. I'm 21 years old now, and I have a beautiful, healthy, almost 3-year-old son. He'll be 3 in March. I originally started this YouTube channel to be able to connect to other young moms, to kind of create a community of young moms, of people who are dealing with judgment for being a young mom, and just everyday teen mom struggles. However, I took a long break from doing YouTube because I got discouraged with seeing all the other successful YouTubers. I saw them, they have the great lighting, they have the great sound, they have great setup, great editing, everything, and 9 times out of 10 I don't even edit my videos because I try to be raw and real with you guys. So I took about a 7-month break from that, plus I dealt with mental health illnesses such as depression, anxiety, and everything else. And also, if you know by the title of this video, we recently lost our daughter to Anencephaly. So it's been a really rough, hard year, 2020, as it has been for most people. In this video, I'm going to be very real, honest, open. As you see, I have no makeup on. I'm not going to edit any parts of this video out. The cat tail you just saw, yeah, it's gonna stay in the video. I just want to be really raw, open, and honest with you guys about this whole situation, everything that went on with our daughter and her condition, and everything that we've been dealing with the past 3 weeks. So before we jump into that, we're gonna jump into how we found out that we were pregnant. So September 3rd, 2020 was my last period. The middle of September, I had extra pregnancy tests under my bathroom cabinet because we had a pregnancy scare earlier that year. So I had some left over that I had ordered off of Amazon. They were just a cheapy, like, at-home test strips. So I had some under there. Wasn't thinking I was pregnant. We were not planning. We were not trying to get pregnant. However, there was one time that we did not use protection. We didn't pull out. We didn't prevent it. So there was a possibility. However, I still did not think that I was pregnant. I didn't think that there was any possibility. But I was 6 days away from my period. So, me just being me, I was like, I have these pregnancy tests, so let me go ahead and take one and just see. So I took it, walked away, came back, looked at it, and I was like, oh, that's negative. But then something told me to look at it again. So I looked at it again, and I was like, there's a faint line. So I called my best friend who lives right next door to me. I called her over. I was like, do you see what I see? Are we seeing the same thing right now? And she looked at it and she was like, yeah, there's a faint line. So I took another one of those test strips, and there's another faint line. And my best friend, she has been trying for a baby. Well, she was trying at that time. She's currently pregnant, but she was trying at that time. So she had pregnancy tests as well, but she had digital ones. So she brought over one of her digital tests for me to take, and I took it that night, not even first morning urine, anything, and it popped up pregnant. So I was like, oh, okay. I was shocked, but I was excited because my husband and I had said that we do want more children. We weren't necessarily planning on more children at that time, but we did agree that we do want more children. We were just planning on having them around August of 2021, or trying to conceive around that time frame, because that's when we originally were planning on getting married. However, we bumped our wedding up to November of 2020 due to finding out I'm pregnant and everything like that. We went ahead and got married. Anyways, but we were excited. Well, I was excited at the time. He didn't know. So I called him in the house and I showed him the test. I was like, I'm pregnant. And to my surprise, He lifted me up, spun me around, and he was super excited. And he was just like, oh, we're having a baby. And he was really excited. If you have watched my previous videos, you know that we have an almost 3-year-old son. I got pregnant with him at 17 and had him at 18. So the response with my son, my husband cried. And when we were both very scared, we were young, we were still in high school, we didn't know how everything was going to play out. We didn't know how to be parents. We didn't know how to take care of a child financially, physically, anything. So we were very scared at that time. But this time it was like a whole new reaction. And I was shocked, but I was excited. And he was excited about this baby. And the baby was very much wanted and very much loved already. My husband actually went out like a couple weeks later and bought the first pack of newborn diapers. Like in my first trimester, bought newborn diapers. Anyways, and then after I told my husband, we eventually told our family and everything, and they were super excited for us. I went over to my mom's and told her, and she was super excited to be a Mimi for the second time. Her and my son are like this. They're two peas in a pod. They love each other so much. And then we told my husband's mom. We actually wrote on a pumpkin, baby boo coming June 2021. And she was really excited about it. She just kept hugging us over and over again. She was super excited. However, we went to our first doctor's appointment. It wasn't until 10 weeks. And my husband was not able to go in with me due to COVID, everything. I understand that there's certain precautions that we have to take right now due to being in the pandemic. I understand that. It sucks because like that's their child too, and they want to be as much involved in the process. However, it does suck because that's their child and they can't go in due to Corona. So it's kind of bittersweet because my husband was not allowed to go in with me the first appointment. And at 10 weeks, you can have your genetic testing. So I opted to have that blood work done. And they also did a vaginal exam just to swab, make sure there wasn't any infection, make sure I didn't have any STDs, bacterial vaginosis, any growth, make sure my vaginal cavity, my cervix, everything was fine and able to produce a child and to bear a child. Everything and that came back fine. However, we also had an ultrasound. The ultrasound was very, very, very old. I had my husband on FaceTime and it was so old and such a crappy image on the ultrasound machine that he was not able to see anything through FaceTime. I was barely able to see the heartbeat. I was not able to hear the heartbeat, and I was not able to get a clear view or picture of the baby. The ultrasound machine was so old that I couldn't even get a printout picture of the baby. And the doctor said herself she was not comfortable with the ultrasound that she performed. She was not able to see everything that she wanted to see, so she wanted me to come back in 2 weeks and get another ultrasound. So that kind of discouraged me a little bit because we weren't able to hear the heartbeat. We weren't able to see the baby, but I did see a little bit of a heartbeat, so I kind of eased my mind a little bit more. Like I previously said, I battled with anxiety, so I was kind of nervous on if the baby was okay or not. I took multiple, like over 20 pregnancy tests in my first weeks of being pregnant, my first trimester, because I had a feeling that something wasn't right. I had a feeling that something was wrong with the baby, and just maybe it was too good to be true, and I just had to see that line progression and that line get darker. My husband actually kept asking me, why do you keep taking pregnancy tests? Why do you keep taking them? And I was like, I have to see that line get darker. Something just feels off to me. I don't know what it is. I just have to see that to know that the baby's okay and the baby's still there. So from the start, I kind of felt very uneasy and anxious about it. So after the first appointment, not being able to hear the heartbeat and not being being able to see an accurate, clear picture of the baby kind of made me nervous, but I felt kind of at ease because I did see a flicker of the heart. So we went home and we waited to get our next appointment that was scheduled for 2 weeks. And we also waited to hear about the genetic testing. I called back about a week later because I still hadn't heard anything about the genetic testing, and I still had not heard anything about my appointment. I called back, left multiple messages with this office, like over 5-6 messages, and never heard anything back. Never, to this day, still have not heard the results of my genetic testing from this clinic. So I opted to switch to a different clinic because I did not like the response that I was getting from the first clinic. So I decided to transfer to a new clinic. I was not able to get into the second clinic until I was 14 weeks and a few days, which wasn't too bad because I was still early into my pregnancy, and I still thought everything was okay. I wouldn't have any cramping, any bleeding, anything. Everything seemed to be fine. I was just sick. I was a lot sicker with our daughter than I was our son. However, everything was okay. At the second clinic, we were both excited because our appointment finally rolled around and my husband was able to go into this clinic. They allowed one other person over the age of 18 as long as they wore a mask and took proper protocol and everything like that. They didn't allow any children or anyone under the age of 18, which is understandable because of COVID and everything. I was just very grateful that they allowed me to go in, especially due to the circumstances that we later found out. So we went into the appointment and we were both super excited because, like I said, we hadn't heard the heartbeat. So we were excited to be able to hear the heartbeat. We were excited to be able to get another ultrasound that we possibly will be able to accurately see baby girl and be able to get a clear picture of her. We didn't know she was a girl this time. I was too early. But we were very excited to see the baby. And my husband was very excited because he wanted to be able to go to all of the appointments with me, and he was very upset that he wasn't able to go to the first one with me. So we go in, I take a urine sample, and then we go in for the ultrasound. We're super excited seeing all the arm. We saw the baby was sitting kind of Indian style with a foot against my bladder. Explains why I always had to pee. But we were very excited. My husband John and I also are not familiar with looking at ultrasound, so everything looked fine to us. The baby looked perfect to us, and the ultrasound technician didn't give any signs that anything was any different, that there was any need for or cause of concern. So we were very excited. We even told her, we were like, we're so excited. This is the first time we're actually being able to see a clear picture of her. And the first ultrasound was so old that we barely even got to see her. He didn't get to see her at all. Also, again, at this time we didn't know it was a her, I'm sorry. But we were just very excited to see the baby. So then we go into the exam room. The technician brings us in there and she said, okay, the nurse is going to be in a minute. So the nurse comes in and she gives me like a welcome to the clinic bag that has like samples to different breast pumps, different baby brands like Johnson & Johnson, Pampers, different things like that. And it gives me like this pamphlet of what to expect from all of my visits, just different information about the clinic, and kind of just like a welcome to the clinic type of thing. And she went over my medical history again because they already got all of my records from the first clinic transferred over, but she just wanted to make sure that everything that they got was accurate and all of that. Then the doctor came in. Her name's Karen, and she's super nice. I love her so much. She came in, she sat down with us, and she said that she had reviewed the ultrasound. I'm gonna try not to cry. This is why I didn't wear makeup, guys. But she said that she reviewed the ultrasound, and it looks like our baby has a condition called anencephaly. If you are not familiar with this condition, it's basically where between day 24 and 26 or 28, I can't quite remember, basically the baby's spine is like a zipper, and there's 3 neurotubule birth defects that happen. One is it doesn't close all the way down when it's zipping down. So, that's spina bifida, which is an opening in the spine of the back. And then there's 2 that when it's zipping up, going towards like the skull and back of your neck type of deal. So one is where it doesn't close or it doesn't zip all the way up, exposing parts of the brain or parts of the skull does not develop. That, I forgot the name of it, but you can live with that because only parts of your brain or parts of your skull aren't developed, and it's not like a lot of it, and there's more medical intervention that can happen to make it to where they can close that part of the skull that is exposed, and there's just different things that can be done for that. However, the condition that our baby had with anencephaly, which means that when the invisible zipper zips up and the spine is forming, it actually doesn't zip like hardly at all, which makes it to where the brain is exposed and the skull is not formed. Basically, they told me that our baby was not compatible with life outside of the womb at all. There was no medical intervention that could be done. Our baby would either die in the womb or the baby would survive, and then if I opted to continue the pregnancy, the baby would survive inside of me but would shortly die afterwards. She sent us to a specialist the next day. We were thankfully able to get into the specialist the next day, and he basically confirmed. He did another ultrasound of vaginal and abdominal to make sure he got the best possible angles and pictures possible, and he confirmed that it was indeed anencephaly, like Karen had thought. And he basically said that he also is the one that told us the gender of the baby, because he had a higher tech ultrasound machine and he was able to see the gender, and he asked us if we wanted to know. My husband was not able to go into the specialist's office with me, but I was able to have him on FaceTime so he could hear everything that the specialist was saying to us, and so he could see the ultrasound as well. Basically said that from my daughter's eyebrows up, it was not developed at all. It just kind of cut off there, and her brain was on the outside of her body, just floating around. And he also went on to explain that with this condition and with nothing covering the brain, my amniotic fluid was attacking her brain, and it was eating away at her brain, making it to where she would be brain dead when she came out. And the only reason she was alive is because she was attached to the placenta. She was only alive because she was feeding off of me, and my placenta was keeping her alive. Basically, her heartbeat was an extension of my heartbeat. That was the only reason she was alive. So basically, he gave us 2 options. Either we terminate the pregnancy due to medical reasons, or we carry the pregnancy and she continues to suffer with her brain being eaten at, and we deliver if I'm able to, because there are risks that she would come early, there's risks that I would miscarry, have a stillbirth, she would come early and be a preemie, there's a risk of hemorrhage, there's risk of blood clots, risk of death, there's like a list of 20 or more things that could happen just during pregnancy, and then there's 20 or more things that could happen due to delivery. It also came down to the point that he told me that due to my daughter having a lethal diagnosis, if anything were to go on wrong during delivery, they would do everything in their power to not do a C-section. They do not want to do a C-section on me, and they would not do a C-section on me because basically it's a waste of those tools and a waste of that OR space to do a surgery on a baby that has, on a mother of a baby who has a lethal diagnosis. Basically, they view it as the baby's gonna die anyways. Why are we wasting our tools and our space and our time to deliver this baby that's going to die? Try being told that. Try being told that no matter if your blood pressure spikes, no matter if you are starting to hemorrhage, we are going to opt to not do a C-section and to not deliver the baby. There was a high chance that I would die during delivery. I have an almost 3-year-old that needs me and a husband that needs me. How do I choose between terminating my child or possibly losing my child and me? How do I choose between terminating my child and ending her suffering and possibly having blood clots, hemorrhage, and mind you, due to delivery with my son, I was already at high risk of hemorrhaging this time around because with my son I had a hemorrhage. So it makes it to where you are at a higher risk of hemorrhaging again. How do I make that decision? How do I choose which way to go? Either way, my baby's going to die. Do I terminate and end her suffering because her brain's being eaten at and because there's so many complications that could happen during pregnancy and during delivery? Or do I deliver it? Like, I prayed and prayed for a miracle. I was on my knees day and night praying and begging for a miracle, for answers on what to do. I opted to go to 2 more specialists just to make sure that it is what it was. Both of those specialists confirmed it as well and told me the same thing. And they went into more detail of what actually was happening with the baby, what would happen if I were to deliver. She would be brain dead, possibly unconscious, possibly blind, possibly deaf. And they say that babies with this condition that are born are not human-like because they're brain dead. And they don't really feel pain because the parts of their brain that do feel pain and do have that response aren't there. And it's a hard pill to swallow to hear that either way you're going to lose your baby, a baby that you wanted so bad. And hearing that it's a baby girl, I wanted a baby girl so bad. I wanted nothing than to have another baby. I wanted nothing than to have a daughter, a mini me, that I could dress up. I could do her hair. I could put matching outfits on her. Me and her match. I could talk to her about boys. Teach her how to put lip gloss on. Do tea parties. See my husband play baby dolls. I wanted nothing more than this. After a few days, my husband and I decided that it would be best for our family and due to the situation to terminate. Hardest decision we ever had to make, but we didn't have much time because I was already 15 weeks and 2 days when the procedure took place. And in the state of Texas, which is the state that we live in, no clinic except for Planned Parenthood will perform a termination past 16 weeks and 6 days, I believe. And Planned Parenthood is the only one that will perform the procedure up to 22 weeks. However, due to COVID and the holiday season, because the procedure took place on December 19th, 2020. So due to the holiday season, them being shut down over the holidays, and due to COVID, I was running out of time. Planned Parenthood was booked up, and by the time, if I didn't go and get it done then, the other clinics would be booked up, and then I would be past the window that I needed to be to have the procedure done. So my mom, she's my rock star during this whole thing. She called around and made all the calls for me. There's actually organizations in place that I had no idea about that help fund this for certain situations, like if it's medical, if it's medically necessary, they help fund it for women who don't have the finances, which is like $1,000. We didn't have those finances. It was very unexpected. We wanted this baby more than anything. We would have not terminated if it hadn't been for medical reasons. I want you guys to understand that, because I know that there's so much crap and negative opinion about termination, and the only reason we did is because it was medically necessary. And if you were in my shoes, and if you heard everything that we heard from different specialists of what was happening to the baby staying inside of me, what was happening to me keeping the baby, and the possibility that could go wrong during pregnancy and delivery, if you heard that, and if you heard what was happening to your child and what was going on with your child and what this birth defect entails, you wouldn't be judging. I guarantee you that. I was a person that was like, I'd never get an abortion. I would never terminate my child. I don't believe in that. I'm pro-life. All the way. That's how I was. But when you get smacked in the face with a situation like this, it makes you take time to sit and think about everything that's happening. It makes you think about what's going on to your child, what's going on to your body, what's going on to your child's body, the risks, the circumstances that are in front of you. And I'm here to say that I changed my views on it completely. And I'm so grateful that they have those organizations in place, because I wouldn't have been able to get the procedure done if had not been. They paid for the procedure, gas money, and food money while we were in the town that we had to be at, because we had to travel 3 hours away from where we live. We had to travel to Houston to get it done. They paid for all that, plus they paid for hotel stay. They dished out like $2,000 for us to get everything covered and not have to worry about anything. And I'm forever grateful for that. It was a 3-day process. First day you go, you have an ultrasound and you talk to the doctor, and you just kind of go through everything that's going to happen, and you talk to the counselor. Second day you go in, and they give you like medical seaweed, and they stick it up your vaginal cavity, and basically what it does is it absorbs your natural fluids and helps to dilate your cervix. So you get that put up there, and then they give you some oral medication to dilate your cervix. So your cervix has to be about 5 centimeters. And then the next day you go in and you get antibiotics, more medicine to dilate your cervix, the medicine to terminate the pregnancy, pain medicine, nausea medicine, and anxiety medication. And then they take you into the room and you get IV sedation and IV pain medicine and stuff like that. And then they actually do the procedure, and then they send you home with pain medication due to cramping, because you cramp and you bleed afterward. And then they give you birth control afterward, and they give you more antibiotics as well because you're at risk of infection. When I say this procedure was the toughest thing I've ever done. The aftermath is even harder, because not only am I healing from the procedure and I'm seeing that blood and I'm having those cramps, I don't want to take the pain medicine because I want to feel every ounce of pain that my baby felt. But I'm seeing that blood and it's a constant reminder of what just happened. And then I'm taking birth control, and I'm not supposed to be taking birth control, I'm supposed to be taking prenatal. And then I look in the mirror and I see that my bump is starting to go down. I see that I'm getting a flat stomach again. I'm supposed to have a baby bump. I'm supposed to be taking prenatal. I'm supposed to be pregnant right now. And no one warns you about the nightmares that are to come. No one warns you about the visions that you'll have. I could not sleep for over 2 weeks without my husband being home, because I had nightmares of babies with their heads cut off. I could not be in a dark room by myself, because even with the lights on, I would see pictures on the wall of my son, my husband, me, and I would picture that our brains were out on the outside of our body. And I would just picture things that weren't there. And I would have terrible nightmares. I blame myself. I know it's not my fault. I've been told by specialists and doctors that it's not my fault. There's nothing I could do to have prevented this, because it happens so early in pregnancy that most women don't even know they're pregnant at that time. I know I did nothing wrong, but I blame myself because I'm supposed to be able to carry a baby. As a woman, I'm supposed to be able to nurture and carry my baby and keep my baby safe. And then I felt like I failed as a wife because I'm the woman. I'm supposed to be the one to take care of the baby. And I wasn't able to. It was out of my control. I couldn't protect her. I couldn't make her from not suffering. But we did make it to where she didn't suffer anymore. No one warns you about the loss of a child and everything that goes into it. Even though she wasn't physically with me, I had her inside of me for 15 weeks and 2 days. She was a part of me, and I was ever so much attached to her. That was my baby, and I wanted her more than anything. And it sucks that I can't have her. And it sucks that she was diagnosed with this. And it sucks that any of my future pregnancies cannot be unplanned. I have to plan them because I have to take folic acid at least 4 to 5 months prior to me conceiving a child to lower my chances of this happening again. It sucks. It sucks that every Saturday I sit and I think about the procedure. I think about, did I make the right choice? I think about how many people are going to judge me because of it. I think about my baby. I think about her suffering inside of me. I think about what could have happened differently. It's only been 3 weeks today. And I'm broken, I'm lost, I'm still confused, but I'm confiding in God because I know there's a plan where, and even just one person hears my story and gets encouraged by it. There is a plan. You may not know it, you may not see it, you may not feel it, but there is a plan, and the pain that you are feeling today cannot compare to the joy that's coming. I'm here to tell you that. The joy is coming. You just have to get through the pain. I'm also here to tell you that if anyone has experienced pregnancy, infant loss, if anyone has gone through this situation, if your baby has been diagnosed with anencephaly, please, please, please reach out to me. You can reach out to me on my personal Instagram It's Sammy, SAMIHGURL 01228 at 01228, and that's my Instagram. And you can just DM me and just talk to me. You can comment under this video and I'll try to get back to it as soon as I can. This is a hard journey and I don't wish anyone would have to be on it. But if you are on it, I want to be there to stand by you. I'm not healed by any means. I'm still grieving, I'm still hurting, but every day gets a little bit better. And I'm here to tell you that every day will get a little bit better. Thank you guys for listening to my story and listening to the story about my beautiful little girl. We named her Dealla Grayson Faye, which Dealla means protector, as she is our protector and guardian angel now. Grayson is like grace, and then N, and then and, faith, so grace and faith. And then she has, obviously, our last name, Safe, right? Thank you guys for listening to her story, and I hope 2021 is a lot better than 2020. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, I appreciate it. And like I said, if you're dealing with anything similar to this, please don't be afraid to reach out. Please subscribe, comment, tell me what you guys think. I know I'm not the best YouTuber. I know the lighting is terrible. There's background noise. Sound isn't that great. Quality isn't that great. And I know that this is a raw and edited video, and my previous editing isn't good either. Like, I know that. I'm still learning. I'm sorry. I'm going to try to get more videos out to you guys, especially during this grieving process. That way others who are dealing with it can relate to it. Thank you guys, and I thank you for your time. Bye.